weren't enjoying it, or if it was boring, or if I didn't like the people, of course I would be already kind of half dead. But because I do enjoy it, I am liking the job and the people, uh, it makes it, more bearable. But I do realize it's not the kind of rhythms I can sustain for too long. But at the same time, I don't know if it's the house here going insane. So that is that. And on the other hand, we have the usual Adriana Thorstein.
Dynamic.
Yes, the balance. And lately we've been having some kind of small fights in the morning. And I do manage to, at times, to tell myself, okay, I'm getting stressed, it's a rabbit hole, whatever. But with Thorstein, at times I just lose it in a matter of no time. Yeah. So, but I realized that there is that dynamic, like you say. On the one hand, he cannot take anything being told to him to be done. And at the same time, he has this continuous feeling guilty. So whatever I will say, he'll feel guilty. So it's going to be my fault, his fault, my fault, his fault, whatever. And on the other hand, I don't know. It's me trying to not say too much, but I do realize that I take bad things as a matter of principle. Maybe I can give you an example, because it's a fight we had the other day. So what was it? I forgot. That's great. So, like he says, you should be doing sports, you should be doing this, you should be finding time for yourself. And, I'm doing this shiatsu course.
Yeah.
I finally managed to get organized with this one girl that I kind of clicked with on the shiatsu course. And she was also having trouble practicing. So because she doesn't live too far from me, we found a day where she said she could come to my place at 8:00. So I said, okay, you know what? We'll have a quick dinner, whatever I serve, my kids, you'll eat. And now we get down to doing some practice. Okay. That was great. And Torsten that night went to bed very early, because the night before he was in bed at 12:30 because he had to work. Even though from home, he had to work very late. So he was shattered. I wake up in the morning after having done shiatsu practice, and I also then, the day after, I went to bed very late because of shiatsu. And, I was shattered in bed. So I say to him, can you drive the kids to school? It's normally my thing because it's along the way. It's very close. I'm really in between home and school. Okay. So normally I do it. But there are times where, either for making him go to school, or because, I don't know, I want to do something else. Or like in this case, I was shattered. I said to him, can you take the kids to school? His answer, I think so. Of course, that didn't go nicely down, but like talking to Ilaria, I realized that she said, fine, but if he says I think so, you should drop it, right? Now, whereas for me, and this I explained to Torsten afterwards when we fought, I said, look, if you tell me I think so, it does not mean anything. Yeah, but I need to check my work, commitments in the morning. Fine, but then it's your responsibility to come back to me and say, it's a clear yes or it's a clear no, right? If you give me that uncertain answer, okay, because I am used to doing it all on my own, even though I was shattered, and even though I would have rather taken things easy in the morning, I had a shower, I washed my hair, I saw that he hadn't started breakfast for the kids, I did that, and I was ready on time. So when he comes back to me and asks me, so am I taking the kids to school? I'm trying to bite my tongue, but I said to him, sorry, but I'm ready by now, and that's where, afterwards we tried to talk, we fought. And I said, Torsten, it's either you tell me yes or no, or if you don't give me a clear answer, I will react in my own normal reaction, which is fine. He is not there. He is not available. I'll take care of it because I know I can. End of the day, I can. Rightly so, Ilaria suggested, you're wrong. The minute he says, I think so, it's his responsibility to come and tell you if it's a no afterwards. So you should have dropped it and done things your own speed, your own pace. So in that, I still need to work on myself. But at the same time, I still think it's related to his difficulty with committing to things and difficulty with acting fast. He says it himself. He has that at work as well. He is not, he's the opposite of me.
Yeah.
At work, I'm like a train.
Mm.
I'm sure he works and he works well at work, but for sure, he is more a procrastinator than me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So in that respect, I react also as a matter of principle. It's not that.
Let's come away from what you did now. Let's come to what you could have done. You said, Ilaria said quite rightly. So are you happy with her suggestion? Do you think it's a good suggestion for you?
Yeah, I think she's right.
So how are you going to use it next time? Would you adapt it? Would you use it as she suggested?
Yes, I just need to find the way to kind of take it on board without annoying Torsten and without sounding nasty, because she says, okay, fine. If he says like that, you need to say, fine, okay, you take the kids then. But, I know that if I don't monitor my language and my body language even, we'll end up fighting anyhow.
So what sort of response do you think you would have had if you had said, fine, you take the kids then? How do you think Torsten would have replied to that?
Maybe he would have said, let me check my calendar.
And would that have been okay with you?
Yeah, I guess so.
You guess so?
I think I would have still got annoyed because I've done it in the past where he said no. No, sorry, I have a meeting at 9. I need to be, in. That, and that's where I think and now I can't think of the word. I feel mistreated. It's in principle, because if he had said no, then my reaction would have been, you see, every time I ask, or when I ask, it's a no.
But
So
it wasn't a no.
Huh?
It wasn't a no.
No, it wasn't a no.
And
well, it wasn't a no. In the end, I took the kids.
Yes, I know, but you just enabled him there.
I know.
Which is not a result you want to keep repeating, is it?
So that's where I think Ilaria's comment is valid, because it would avoid that I enable him.
Well, it might avoid you enabling him.
Yeah.
It depends how you respond to his response to you. That's why I asked you, what do you think Torsten would have said? And you said, I think he would most probably have said, let me check my calendar. But that seems to be something that would trigger you again and make you angry. And I'm wondering why. Why would that get you upset and think, oh, it's me again?
Because I do most of the stuff at home. And, well, by now we've tried the dividing tasks. It hasn't worked. So I try to ask, but at times, often, it doesn't work, in the sense it works insofar it suits his work schedule. But because my work schedule seems to be always easier than his, I end up adapting, right? So then as a matter of principle, I end up reacting as if, here you go, it's me, you know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So that seems to be the key here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's as if I'm being abused.
All right. So how about if once a week you say no to something, whether it's fine with your schedule or not, you just say no as a principle. So you pull back and you get him gradually more used to doing things, making a contribution, being a parent. You just say no, not because you can't do it, but because you're tired. And once a week, you say, I'm giving this to mine. You don't need to tell him that's what you're doing.
Okay.
Don't lie, never a good idea, but just say, no, I'm really sorry, I can't then. Just once a week. Because I think part of the issue is that you are so good at picking up the slack that you just do it. So he has grown used to, with his difficulty of committing to something and deciding quickly, he has grown used to thinking, well, if I'm not sure, she'll do it anyway. So if I wait long enough, she will do it.
Yeah.
You need to break this very vicious circle.
But indeed, when we fought in the end, I told him, we need to go back to what I had initially said. Twice a week, fixed, you go to take the kids to school. If you cannot, you need to tell me. It's your responsibility, because otherwise I don't manage to get him to do anything. But, you know, it feels like...
How long did that work for?
Sorry?
How long did that work for?
No, it never worked, because on the one hand, you know, we have the two sides of the coin. We have him, is like you say, he tends to, you know, wait, and I managed to, you know, be so reactive and pick up the slack that, you know, even when I say it, I don't enforce it.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
You have to train your husband just like you train a dog, or the boys. And that has to be consistent, which is going to kill you.
I know.
You'll get really itchy fingers. I want to do it, it's going to be easier for me. No.
Yeah.
You have to be the strong one here, because he is not getting the message. And so you are allowing him to keep playing to what suits him.
I know.
His weaknesses, his fear of committing, and his difficulty with not procrastinating. Because you step in all the time. Mummy will look after me. You don't have two sons, you have three. And you've made the third one, in a way.
I've told you when we had the fight where he said, did I? That in the evening I tried very nicely to say to him that, oh, in the evening when he's watching TV, perhaps he could cook for the day after.
Yeah.
And he replied to me, I am too tired.
Yeah.
And I just like, Torsten, I'm also too tired when I'm cooking in the evening, but I'm doing it anyhow.
Yeah. And you were absolutely right to say that.
And I feel, yeah, like I said before, I feel like I'm abused. Because on the one hand, it's not just he is not doing, but also we go back to he is not emotionally present to tell me, oh, I know you've done this, thank you, or can I do, you know, I'm missing something on either side. If I don't get that, at least, you know, at least some comment, at least some acknowledgement. Yeah. So, I feel as if I've even said it to him. I don't lie. His job is more important than mine.
Why?
Because he gets to not do things that I have to do anyhow at home.
So who is his job more important to then? Him, you, the family?
I really don't know, honestly, at this stage, if it's for himself. if it's, yeah, no, his job comes, how can I say it? His job comes before mine, if you see what I mean.
I do see what you mean, but I'm trying to work out why it comes before yours. Why it comes before yours and your boys and your family life. Why? Because he can't stand up for himself? Or because you let it in some way?
Yeah, I let it. But, you know, at times it's, I don't know how to explain it. At times it's, you know, right. If I had a high-flying job with traveling every week, right? If I had an impediment, if my job was equally demanding in terms of meetings and travel, right? We wouldn't have a choice. We would have to hire a nanny or share somehow, mixing and matching. Are you here? Are you not here? Right? But because my work allows in terms of time, but that is not time available because I'm working as well. It's as if because he has the travel, because he has the meetings, of course, I'm going to step in. I've probably also contributed to this. Now, in a normal situation, for me, it doesn't mean that because me and you are living together that, you know, I could be what do you call it? Stay at home, not stay at home mom. No, no, I could be someone who works from home, right?
A home worker, yeah.
Exactly. So necessarily, my job would be different from yours if you're traveling and having meetings all the time, right?
Yeah.
But we cannot penalize you for working from home, but because when you are at home, you are still working, right? So what my thinking is, while you might find it easier to adapt your work schedule, right? If you're at home working and I'm at work working, there should be equal treatment to the extent possible where I know you are working, right? It's not you have to run all the time. So there is that kind of mismatch that I'm missing because my job is necessarily different from his, but I am not wanting to have a change in the way we treat things just by increasing the amount of travel I do or the meetings I do. You see what I mean?
I do.
I want to be able to maintain the work I'm doing because I'm, you know, if I could, I would work 50%. That's another story. But for the situation I have now, my job is what it is. It's a great job. I'm even now where I am now enjoying it and learning. So I am working. I'm not demanding to have a change in Torstein. I should change my job and start flying every week and having late meetings. That's not what I want. But I would like to see that, okay, fine, I accept that your job is very demanding. You know it, I know it. But you need to show me some respect and some emotional presence and showing me that it's not all on my shoulder. That's where I'm getting stuck. And I know that I am enabling this, that you're right. But I do not want to not enable it by asking to have a job that makes me travel every week.
Obviously.
Like I don't want to push the change by forcing him in that sense.
Let me ask you a question, because you keep saying that you recognize quite rightly that Torsten's job is very demanding.
Yes.
What about your job?
Very demanding.
So
in a different way.
why in your thinking because you show me your thinking through your words. Do you keep saying that Torsten's job is very demanding and you never say that yours is? It's as though somehow there's a scale of demand and yours is way down here and Torsten's is way up there.
Because I think it's in the general perception, and probably also mine as well, in the sense, kind of at the back of your mind, somehow that's how you learn it, that because you are a manager, a director, or whatever you can be, your job is more demanding than me, who I can be an assistant and therefore, could be considered as being a secretary. Now, I know the job I'm doing, right? But there is like this discrepancy between...
But that's other people. What do you think?
Probably me as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So how can we help you to change your perspective of your role, that it doesn't have the value that Torsten's does? And therefore everything gives way to Torsten, because that's one area where you're enabling him. Because of this belief that you've maybe inherited from your parents. Italian culture is still very, very masculista.
Yeah, indeed.
That's the word in English. It's still outrageously.
Mm-hmm.
So men are afraid of women managers. I've seen men literally that just not know what to do with themselves when they've seen me as a female consultant walk into a building. They don't like it still.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
But we, the women, are not going to help them if we fall into the trap with them.
Yeah, but you understood what I meant when I said I cannot become a manager just to make a change in Torsten. You see what I mean?
I think it's irrelevant. I actually think that's irrelevant. The fact is that somewhere in you still believe that your job has a lesser value than his. And you still believe that you're fully responsible or majorly responsible for the boys because that's your role as a woman. And that's cultural imprinting. And there's no criticism of that. It's just, please be aware of it because it is making your life more difficult. Yeah. And we're now in the 21st century. So if you're going to have a relationship with Torsten that puts an end to this constant battibecco and much more, then I think within you, it would be helpful for you to recognize just how much that belief you're still being loyal to.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it the other day. I kind of clicked. I don't know what I was doing. I've seen my mom do this all her life. She's been working and she's been even more so. They didn't have house help. No. So she was doing all the cooking and cleaning.
You can stop being loyal to that model because your mum was exhausted because of that and you're exhausted because of it. Kids don't need exhausted parents. They don't find exhausted parents very helpful. No. Every so often, yes, but not constantly. It is not healthy and it is a terrible role model to give a child. Fortunately, you don't have daughters. But actually, that doesn't matter because it means that your boys grow up believing that that's what mums do. They sacrifice themselves on the altar of their husband's job and their family. And it's not healthy at all.
No.
So there does seem to be, all we can do in these sessions is work on you and how you're contributing to a difficulty. Yeah. And it seems to me here a way that you are contributing by being loyal to your mother's model, your parents' model, the Italian cultural model.
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
And that needs to stop. So how can we help you weaken your loyalty to that model? Because where the value of your job in comparison to Torsten's, I think it is a red herring. It doesn't help us. It doesn't get us any further along. It keeps you stuck in the I feel abused, I feel abused, I feel abused, and you're down that rabbit hole and you're not coming out.
Okay.
You see what I mean? I'm being very tough with you.
Yeah, no, it's right.
But you know, we keep coming back to this problem with Torsten, and we're so busy recognizing his difficulties that we're still not really taking a deep dive into yours. And that's not a problem, because we do that the whole of our lives. I'm still uncovering things in me and thinking, oh my God, I've never seen that before. I need to work on that. But I need to give myself the space to do that. And this is the space for you to do it. And I want to use this time for that.
Yeah.
Okay. We can't change Torsten in these sessions. It's not the remit of these sessions. But we can set in motion changes that you will find helpful and make you more effective in your life and make your life less stressful.
Yeah.
Because constantly going back to these arguments, constantly going back to square one and not feeling that you're making any progress is a sign that something needs to change. And it's not just him, it is also us.
Of course, yeah.
How we react to it.
Yeah.
What we contribute to the dynamic of I feel abused. Because if we constantly feel abused and we don't do anything about it because we're stuck down the rabbit hole, then that makes us our own abuser.
Yeah. I see it.
So that's why it's so important to get you out of the rabbit hole, because it doesn't help you. It just keeps you stuck down there and becoming your own abuser.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Oh, you've frozen again. And you've frozen, sweetie. I don't know what. You're frozen. Okay, all right.
You're back.
All right, good. So I don't know what you said, if anything, because you
No.
All right.
No. I was just saying that, yes, it does make sense.
Okay, good. So one thing that I want you to look at this week, how long are you going to Norway for?
Just Friday to Sunday.
Okay, so it's a short trip this time.
Yeah.
I want you to look at your loyalty to this family dynamic that you grew up in, where your mum worked all day and then came home and did all the housework at night.
Okay. What do you mean look at it?
I want to see where you tend to do that, where you step in without thinking and say, oh, I'll do it. Or where you catch yourself thinking, Torsten's work is so important, and you don't think the same of your own.
Okay.
So we can put someone's value higher than our own. Not necessarily, we don't have to say, I'm not as good as you are. We can do it simply by focusing on your worth and never considering our own. And I think that's how you're doing it. Because
okay.
I didn't count them, but I think in the time you spoke to me about Torsten and this dynamic, you must have said at least 5 times, Torsten's work is so demanding. And
okay.
Was nowhere to be seen. Oh, okay, so Adriana doesn't work. She doesn't have any work. What she does has no value. It doesn't stress her. Okay, so what have I been doing in these sessions for the last 4 years? Watching her be so stressed she doesn't know which way to turn. She spits things out because she can't take anymore. What have I been doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So notice the value you take from yourself simply by never putting yourself in the value equation.
Say that again, please.
Okay. Notice the value you take from yourself.
Okay.
Simply by not appearing in the equation of value.
Okay.
It's all Torsten. He's more demanding. He has more meetings. It doesn't matter. What matters is the levels of stress you both feel at the end of the day. And to me, they seem fairly equal.
Oh yeah,
And then
definitely.
you've got to come home and you've got the stress of home. While you've got a partner sitting on the couch because he's tired, that would, for me, be grounds for divorce.
I know.
Occasionally would be fine, but I was brought up in an Anglo-Saxon culture. The women in my surrogate mothers were all very weak. My last surrogate parents were two sisters, and they were really strong. So I think they had quite a deep influence on me. And this is a no-no. It gets talked about once. We talk it through honestly. And then if you don't do something, I am out or you're out, depending on whose house it is.
And I've even said it to Torsten that, for having married a Norwegian, this is really a no-go. And I guess I told him, this is not what I signed up for.
Yes, you did. So one piece of this thing to do this week is to watch your contribution to this dynamic. And the dynamic is, I have no value. I think you need to Adriana, I would take the image off because I think it's putting too much strain on the system.
Okay.
Okay. Hopefully that will help things.
Yes.
All right. Because otherwise we can't have a good session, and this is one where you really need it. I think it's not good to be constantly interrupted in this way. So this is your homework for the next week, is to look at where you contribute to this dynamic. Are we clear?
Yes. Yes.
Right. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Just look and make a note.
Yeah.
I want you to understand more deeply how you might be contributing to this situation, which has been in deadlock almost ever since I've known you.
Yeah.
Works for a while and then you go back to the starting point. Works for a while, it goes back to the starting point. You talk about it, it doesn't even get off the starting block, so you're on the starting point again.
Yeah.
This cannot continue.
Mm-hmm.
And if it helps, see it through the perspective of your sons growing up, because they're going to grow up to be men, they're going to have girlfriends and hopefully wives one day. And they will treat their wives automatically the way you behave now. And the way Torsten behaves with you. So do it for the next generation, if not for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
My only question is how, or maybe I need to get to there after this week of thinking. It's like, how do I manage? I don't even know how to say it.
Can you say it in Italian?
No, but it's the thoughts that are messed up in my head. It's like, if I want to see a change in Torsten, right? How can I do that without having to exclude myself from the equation? In the sense, if I say I'm going out for dinner, or if I say I'm not going to be there, of course, he will move and act. But I would like to see reaction while both of us are there. Do you see what I mean?
I think this problem is so deeply rooted in you both. I think the wisest thing to do would be to be happy, content, and accept any action on his part that is an improvement. You can't have it all at once, sweetie. I know you know that. But the trap that we tend to fall in when we've been starved of something is for a long time is then we want it all. We have to come to terms with the reality. Okay, this is going to be a step-by-step, a baby step-by-step improvement. So look for any sign that he is stepping up a little more and doing a little more.
Can I then give you another example?
Yeah.
Because of course I do try that, but of course I do also slip in the comment here and there. And here I have today's example.
Okay.
And you know, I do try to step back and not do everything. The other day I was out at the weekend. Torsten and the kids went somewhere. They came home and apparently Torsten and one of the kids stepped on dog poo because Rome is still full of it. Close brackets. So I decided I am not going to take those shoes and wash them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even though maybe the kids have not been taught to do it themselves, Torsten is old enough to do it for himself and the kids.
Yeah.
But I have to struggle and fight against my need to do it and do it now. But I did it. Those shoes were left out for I don't know how many days. Then one day it was raining. So Torsten asked me to move them on top of a cupboard outside, which I did. Yesterday I saw the shoes. I looked under them and I saw that now the shoes were clean. But yesterday we had our cleaner coming in. And I made the comment to Torsten this morning in a nice way, but of course, I know it's a criticism. It cannot be anything but that. I said, look, I noticed that the shoes have been cleaned, but I think it's Michaela who has done it, and I don't think it's fair that we should leave those things to her. He did not reply. He had a major sigh, to which I just decided to walk out. Because otherwise we were going to have a major fight again.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that he cannot take any kind of criticism, but I also have to be allowed to make a comment. Now,
I'm suggesting that you don't criticize him. I'm not suggesting that you don't criticize him.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not suggesting that because he's a grown man. Otherwise, he has no business making babies, quite honestly. Mm-hmm. He's a grown man. And if so long as you make a comment that is respectful, then he has to learn to accept it. He might not like it, but he has to learn to accept it without little sighs. Because that's his passive aggressive coming out.
Mm-hmm, indeed. To which I got annoyed, knowing what was behind, meaning that I did my part of my work on myself. He doesn't know, but I saw the shoes. I wanted to clean them. I decided I'm not going to do it because it's not my poo under my shoes. So I know how much I've been thinking about, oh, I'll do it. He should do it. I should remind him. And, you know, all of that. He doesn't see it, but it's been inside me.
Of course.
So when I saw that the shoes are clean and I did not even kind of blah on him, I make a comment and he still cannot take any of that.
Do you start with look?
That I don't know. Could be, but I don't know.
I would watch that because look will automatically, directly you say that word, he will automatically go, oh, there's a criticism coming, and he won't hear the rest of it.
Yeah, but I swear to you that Torsten will take bad anything even without the look.
Yes, he will. He will. But don't help him.
Yeah, no, okay, fine. I'll write this down.
Getting you stressed as well because look, I'm gearing up to tell you something and I'm angry about it. So you're doing it as well. So do it for you. Don't do the look. I would simply cut that sentence down to I would make it a question and I would make it a really simple question. I noticed that the shoes were clean, but also the cleaning lady's been today, so I'm wondering who actually cleaned them. And I'd say it like that, whether it was you or her.
So fine, when he tells me it was her, I should not go ahead to say, I don't.
Then you can add something like, sweetie, I don't think that's fair. Do you? I think it's our responsibility. I wouldn't like to be left that as a cleaning lady. It's our kids, we should do it. And if you do it with the boys, you can have some fun with them. So I always try to mix it with, I'm very calm. I don't have pet words that I start with, like look, because I know that they are trigger words for my partner. Anybody will see that for what it is, which is I'm gearing up for a row. I'm gearing up for a criticism, and I'm already angry.
Yeah.
Because that's what look is. It comes with an exclamation mark behind it because it comes with anger. So what I do is I stay calm, and I always come with something that includes me. So I wouldn't like it if I don't know about you, but I think we should do it because they're our kids. And you can have fun. So there's a nice thing at the end of it. Because the simple truth is that when we start with certain words, then the people who are listening to us will only hear criticism. Even if there's not much of a criticism there, that's all they'll hear. They won't hear anything else because they're so attuned to a criticism that is all they hear. And sometimes then there isn't even a criticism there. So you need to put in a very healthy dose of positive stuff. And you need to do it when you're very calm. You aren't vomiting, to use your old word. That's really good. And also, don't worry about telling him what goes into your self-control, but not in these moments. Share it when you're both relaxed. Say, do you realize what I go through to tell you? And you do it with a smile on your face. You do it when you're both laughing, when you're both calm. I don't want you to think that, I'm not doing anything because I'm really working hard on this. Look, I'll show you what I do. Typically, I do this. I have to talk myself down through it. I have to find the right words, and then I have to take a deep breath, and then I have to stop myself picking up because you haven't done it, because I want to leave you to do it, because I don't want to treat you like a baby. All right?
Yeah.
So these things can be shared, but at the right time. And it's very good to share them because you're letting the other person into what it's like to be you. They can't understand what it's like to be you unless you share it, but it has to be shared in the right way. In a way that they can hear.
Yeah. There's a longer path ahead.
There is. Because we're getting down to the really deep stuff now. And the deep stuff is more difficult to clear. And it demands more of us, but it brings us bigger rewards.
Yeah.
But you're picking things up more quickly now.
Okay.
So I bombarded you a bit this session. So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah? Okay.
Just,
Any questions or thoughts that are coming up that it would be helpful to share with me for you?
No, it's more like this general feeling I'm left with that I would like to have the fast solution, in the sense that, it's like you say, I know I can only work on myself, right? But I would really like to be able to have a change in him that does not require my taking myself out. His action as a reaction.
Yeah.
He acts when he needs to react because I am not there, or, because I have a proper justification, be it I'm traveling, be it I'm sick, and if I have not found another solution. So I know I need to stop doing, but you know, he's 45, and I wish he could see it, and at least even if he could not see it, I wish he could have some nice words rather than getting annoyed and criticized anything, really anything.
Do you think he feels the same about you? If you asked him, what do you think he might say to you? What would he wish about you?
That I didn't nag at him all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You both have these, you both love each other, that's obvious. But you both have these such different personalities. And with two demanding young boys, twins are demanding. Selective mutism adds about 10 other layers onto that level of demand. So, and you both of you have demanding jobs, and you come home and then have the demanding house to look after and the family life. So the only way to do it is by small steps, and by knowing that you've got this big goal. You want him to be more propositivo rather than reactive.
Yes, exactly.
It is not helpful at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You need him to be, what's the word in English?
Proactive.
Proactive.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, you need him to be more proactive and to see that something needs doing and do it for himself. He needs you to stop criticizing him, and he wishes you would see that, I'm sure. So the only thing to do is to not give up and to keep talking about it, and to stop whenever you know that both of you have got too angry and you're not being lucid, and to take a time out. So there have to be some ground rules that have to be sacrosanct. Yeah. More important than the Roman Catholic faith and the church. what Papa Francesco says. I adore him, but in this case, this is your first priority. And it builds. What happens is, over time, you don't realize it, but really having an issue that you really, really, really have to work hard with brings a cascade of benefits over time that you don't realize you're acquiring. You just develop them because you have to meet the problem that you're determined at all costs to resolve.
Yeah.
And that sometimes that helps me. It's just there are bigger things at stake here, and I want my life. I don't want the traumatized life I was born into. I want my life where I make a serious contribution to the well-being of others. And so with that, it allows me to get perspective on the little everyday nagging things that drive me insane.
Okay.
That would be one quick tip I could give you. But once you see the bigger picture and you're aware of it, let it go, because otherwise it becomes a real negative. Because you're all the time focused on the big picture, and what you need to do for every day is to be focused on the next tiny step. Nothing else. Forget the big picture, the next tiny step. You know the big picture, it's engraved on your heart. Go to, what do I need to do now? Yesterday I got so frustrated with the computer and with some software I was working with. I stopped myself and I said, okay, Susie, what do you need? You need to get out of this chair, get away from that computer and do something. Okay, so I hung the washing out.
Okay.
And then I made a coffee. And then I sat down. And then I went back to it and said, okay, before I went back to it, I said, okay, help me. I just asked the universe. It's a crazy thing, but I do, and it works for me. I asked the universe, help me find the easiest way to sort this out, because I don't know what to do anymore. I just don't know what to do. I've tried everything I can think of and nothing is working. Help me. Help me find a really simple solution. And that just breaks through enough of the pressure to let me find another way and to make it work. And often just that pause and coming back to it is enough for it to work. I don't know why, don't know how. but
Right.
it works. So
Mm.
eyes off the big picture. Once you're clear about the big goal, come away from it, because it will just damage any progress you make.
Okay.
It will become toxic.
Yeah.
Because we want it so badly. We're so starved of that when we think it's in sight, we think, right, now you're going to give me all of it. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's like building a house. We do it one brick at a time.
Yeah. You're right.
Okay, so that would be my quick tip for you. It is the only thing I found that helps me.
Mm.
And asking for help, not necessarily to other people, but to the universe, to the air, to the room. Ask for help.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not into angels very much, or saints, but I am into guardian angels and energy. And
Okay.
I just ask if anyone's around, and I'm sure they are. We can't see them, but I'm sure they're there.
Yeah.
When I was little, I was convinced that I had a guardian angel. And then I realized that she was my grandmother, who had started all of the vengeance and Fida in the family. She was a horrible woman, really cativa.
Wow.
But I think that she came in to look after me because she knew that I was the result of all her cattiveria and her crudeltà, è l'unica parola che posso usare, that she needed to keep me alive. So,
wow.
So for me, it's not her anymore, but it is some benevolent being that has my welfare and wants me to do well.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
So, whatever works for you. What I've shared with you works for me, but it might well not work for you. Find some way that works for you where you feel you can ask something bigger than you for help. It could be the wisest part of you. It could be God. It could be your favorite saint, a dead relative. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. All that matters is that you find a support system that is outside of you and that's bigger than you. Because I think that makes the difference. We tend to stop pushing so hard and go, okay, well, I've got some help on my side. I've got my cheerleader. And so now we can move forward again. We can take a tiny step forward, but that tiny step is enough to get you back on track, feeling good about yourself, trusting yourself, and making bigger steps forward.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I've written it down.
So I do understand, believe me, I have been there, and I am there these days almost every day.
Oh.
And I've been there for about a year and a half, but it is getting better, but it is really slow. I'm doing 1 step forward, 4 steps backwards. But it is getting better. And so that's it. That's enough. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
It has to be enough. And I'm not going to torture myself in demanding more, because that affects my well-being.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get the picture?
Of course, yes.
Okay. So when are you flying off to Oslo? No,
tomorrow. We took the day off. We're going tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow to Sunday.
Good. And then when are you coming back on Sunday? Early in the morning or?
No, unfortunately, very late in the evening.
Oh.
So we're going to be shattered, but it's fine. I mean,
you go into work on, oh no, Monday's, no, it's not Monday.
No, it's Thursday. And for me, it's not bank holiday, so I'm going to have to try and take the day off. Otherwise, I have to work.
Yeah.
But
have a good time.
Thank you,
What are you
Susanna.
planning to do? Anything nice, or you just relax a bit?
Well, we're going mainly because my sister-in-law has organized a surprise party for her partner.
Okay.
And then she's organized a party and stuff. But like I said to Torsten, because yesterday he was saying, "Oh, I'm a bit tired. Just thinking of going to Oslo for 2 days and a half. It's like makes me tired." I said, "Look, Torsten, I think other than the surprise party, we also need to take this opportunity as a family weekend away. Whether we want to go to the cinema with the kids or whatever. We cannot have the 2 days and a half running around like crazy. We also need to see what we feel like doing and just do it, the four of us."
Yeah, a very good idea.
So that could be good, even just the cinema with the kids.
Yes, just something to let you feel human again.
Yeah,
and to enjoy the family rather than being the source of struggle and stress.
indeed.
Good.
So I've booked appointments for the next Wednesdays to come. So except there's one weekend in November where I'm going to be traveling with work. But
Okay,
other than
I saw your one for the 7th of November, but I haven't seen the others, but that's all right.
Yeah, I think I've taken all of November or whatever was available for November. I think November was only available half a month or something.
Okay.
Anyhow, every Wednesday that was available except the one mid-November, I took them.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, good.
So speak to you next week then, Wednesday.
Have a good flight, have a good time, and relax. Okay, try and get some time where you can enjoy your family.
Thank you, Susanna.
Difference.
Yeah.
All right.
Big hugs.
All right, and you, big hug, my love. Bye bye.
Ciao, bye.